What if the biggest thing affecting your blood sugar isn't what you eat, but when you drink water? I know that sounds too simple. You've probably tried everything. Expensive supplements that didn't work, restrictive diets you couldn't maintain, medications that left you exhausted. But stay with me because what I'm about to show you helped hundreds of my patients drop their fasting blood sugar by 22 points in just 2 weeks. No new medications. No complicated diets. Just water. Timed correctly, Gerald was 68, doing everything right for his diabetes and still failing. Perfect diet. Daily exercise. Never missed his medication. But his blood sugar was unpredictable and climbing. His A1C went from 7.1 to 7.9 in a year. His wife watched him try harder and harder with worse and worse results. Then we discovered one simple mistake he was making every single morning. We fixed it with water. 2 weeks later, his fasting glucose dropped 22 points. Today I'm showing you exactly what we changed. Before we go any further, drop a comment right now and tell me where you're watching from, your country or city. I love seeing how far this message travels, and it reminds all of us that managing blood sugar is a challenge we're facing together no matter where we are. If you're over 60 and struggling with unpredictable blood sugar despite doing everything your doctor tells you, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how proper hydration timing can improve your insulin sensitivity by up to 40%. These aren't hypothetical cases from textbooks. These are real people I've worked with in my practice. People in their 60s and 70s who take medications faithfully, follow meal plans carefully, check their blood sugar multiple times daily, walk every morning, and still their numbers won't stabilize. The frustration is real. These are people who've been fighting this battle for years, sometimes decades. They've spent money on special diabetic foods. They've given up foods they love. They've done everything their doctors asked. And they're exhausted. Tired of constant vigilance. Tired of feeling like they're failing even when they're trying harder than anyone around them. In my years of practice, I've learned something important. Sometimes the most powerful medical interventions aren't the most complicated ones. Sometimes it's the basics we've overlooked that create the biggest differences. And here's what research is now showing. Drinking water at specific times throughout the day can improve insulin sensitivity by up to 40%. That means your body becomes significantly better at using the insulin it has, whether that's your own naturally produced insulin or insulin from medication. The key isn't just how much water you drink. It's when you drink it, how you drink it, and what you add to it. Small strategic changes in timing can create substantial improvements in blood sugar control. Now, this isn't about replacing your medication or ignoring your doctor's guidance. This is about giving your body the foundational support it needs so your medications can do what they're designed to do. Let me explain what's happening inside your body after 60, because understanding this makes everything else make sense. After 60, several significant changes occur that make blood sugar control genuinely more challenging even if you're doing everything right. First, your cells gradually become more resistant to insulin. They don't respond as quickly when insulin tries to deliver glucose into them for energy. Second, your pancreas doesn't produce insulin as efficiently as it used to. You're working with less of this crucial hormone. Third, your kidneys don't filter glucose as effectively, which means excess sugar lingers in your bloodstream longer. And here's the part most people, including many healthcare providers, completely miss. Your brain's thirst mechanism becomes significantly less sensitive with age. This is critical. You can be substantially dehydrated, even dangerously dehydrated, without feeling thirsty at all. Your mouth might not feel dry. You might not experience any obvious discomfort. But inside your body at the cellular level, things are going wrong. And even mild dehydration, just 2% below optimal hydration levels, which is barely noticeable to you, can raise your blood sugar by 10 to 15 points. That's enough to take you from good control to poor control. That's enough to explain those frustrating morning spikes or unexpected afternoon highs that seem to come from nowhere. Let me tell you about Gerald, the man I mentioned at the beginning. When he came to my office, I could see the frustration written across his face before he even sat down. "Doctor," he said, his voice tight with emotion, "I don't understand what I'm doing wrong. I'm eating carefully, measuring everything. I take my metformin exactly as prescribed. I walk 3 miles every single morning. I've completely cut out sugar and white bread. I've done everything you told me to do. He pulled out a small notebook filled with blood sugar readings. Look, some mornings it's 145, other mornings it's 185. Yesterday, 162. This morning, 178. Same breakfast every single day. Same steel-cut oatmeal, same measured portion. But the numbers are all over the place. His wife added quietly, he tries so hard, but his A1C just keeps creeping up. From 7.1 to 7.9 over the past year. We went through his entire routine. Diet excellent. Medication timing perfect. Exercise completely consistent. Everything looked right on paper. Then I asked what seemed like a trivial question. Gerald, walk me through your morning routine from the moment you wake up until breakfast. I get up around 6:30, check my blood sugar, make coffee, drink my coffee while reading the news. Then around 7:30, I make my oatmeal and take my medication with a glass of water. When do you drink plain water? I asked. He paused, genuinely confused. When I'm thirsty, I suppose. Sometimes with my medication. Is that wrong? There it was. Gerald went from 6:30 a.m. until 7:30 or later before drinking any actual water. 8 hours sleeping without fluids, then another full hour awake without hydrating. 9 hours total of progressive dehydration. We made simple changes. Every morning before his coffee, he drank warm water with a small pinch of sea salt and fresh lemon juice. 15 minutes before lunch and dinner, he drank a glass of room temperature water. He carried a bottle and sipped consistently throughout the day. 2 weeks later, he called my office. His voice sounded completely different. Lighter, almost excited. My morning readings have been between 125 and 138 for the past week, every single day. That consistency hasn't happened in over 2 years. A month later, his average fasting glucose had dropped by 22 points. No medication changes whatsoever. Just water timed correctly. I honestly thought you were a little crazy, he admitted with a smile at his follow-up. Water seemed way too simple to actually matter. But I can't argue with my glucose meter. The numbers don't lie. Before I show you the exact method that helped Gerald and hundreds of my other patients, let me explain the 3 most common hydration mistakes I see. You're almost certainly making at least one of these right now. Mistake number 1. Waiting until you're thirsty to drink. Thirst isn't an early warning system. It's an alarm bell that goes off only after you're already significantly dehydrated. By the time your mouth feels dry, your blood has already thickened, your glucose levels have already elevated, and your insulin is already struggling to work efficiently. Think of it this way. Your blood is like a river carrying glucose to your cells. When that river is full and flowing well, glucose moves smoothly. When the river runs low, it becomes thick and sluggish. Glucose gets stuck. It accumulates in your bloodstream instead of being delivered to cells that need it. Mistake number 2. Drinking large amounts all at once. Some people go hours without water, then suddenly drink a huge glass trying to catch up. But your body can only absorb about 200 to 250 milliliters every 15 minutes. That's about 1 cup. Anything beyond that just passes straight through to your bladder without actually hydrating your cells. It's like watering a plant. If you dump an entire bucket on it all at once, most runs off and the roots stay dry. But if you water slowly and steadily, the soil absorbs it and the roots get what they need. Mistake number 3. Drinking ice-cold water, especially first thing in the morning or right before meals. I know cold water feels refreshing, but ice-cold water causes your blood vessels to constrict and narrow. When your vessels narrow, insulin has a harder time reaching the cells that need it. Room temperature or slightly warm water keeps your blood vessels relaxed and dilated, allowing insulin to circulate and work far more efficiently. This is especially critical in the morning and around meal times when your body is actively processing glucose. Now, let me teach you the specific method I use with my patients. I call it the H3 method. H stands for hydration. The first 3 represents 3 key timing points throughout your day. The second 3 represents 3 essential elements that make this work. Let's start with the timing points. Timing point number 1. First thing in the morning. This is your single most important timing point of the entire day. The moment you wake up, before coffee, before breakfast, before checking your phone, drink one full glass of warm water. About 350 milliliters or 12 ounces. Here's the crucial addition. Add a tiny pinch of natural sea salt. I mean genuinely tiny, just what fits on the tip of a butter knife. And squeeze in juice from about half a fresh lemon. Why these specific additions? After 8 hours of sleep, your body isn't just dehydrated from lack of water. You've also lost electrolytes through normal nighttime processes. That small amount of sea salt provides sodium, potassium, and magnesium that actually help your cells absorb and utilize the water instead of it just passing through. The lemon provides vitamin C and creates a slight acidity that helps stabilize your blood sugar response to your first meal. This simple morning ritual accomplishes something remarkable. It signals your adrenal glands to calm down. Those glands naturally produce cortisol, your stress hormone, which peaks every morning. Cortisol instructs your liver to release stored glucose into your bloodstream. By calming this stress response with proper hydration and minerals, you actually prevent that unnecessary morning blood sugar spike. Let me tell you about Elizabeth. She was 72, had been managing type 2 diabetes for 14 years, and her biggest frustration was her morning blood sugar. She'd wake up consistently at 165 or 175 even though she'd eaten a careful dinner, and her bedtime reading had been acceptable. We started with just this one change. Warm water with a pinch of sea salt and lemon juice first thing every morning, at least 20 minutes before her coffee. 3 weeks later, her average morning reading had dropped to 128. Same medication, same evening routine. The only difference was how she started each day. I wake up feeling genuinely different too, she told me. More clear-headed, less foggy. And that lower morning number gives me confidence for the entire day. Timing point number 2, before meals. About 15 minutes before lunch and dinner, drink a smaller glass of water. About 150 to 200 milliliters, just 1 cup. This simple habit does something physiologically important. It prepares your digestive system, stimulates enzyme production, and most importantly for blood sugar management, it slightly dilutes the contents of your stomach, which slows down how rapidly carbohydrates are absorbed into your bloodstream. When carbohydrates enter your bloodstream slowly instead of all at once, your available insulin can actually keep up with demand. Your blood sugar rises gently instead of spiking dramatically. Clinical studies have shown this simple habit can reduce post-meal blood sugar spikes by up to 20%. That's often the difference between struggling with control and maintaining good management. Timing point number 3, during physical activity. If you walk, garden, do household chores, or engage in any sustained activity for more than 20 minutes, you need to drink water during that activity, not just afterward when you're already depleted. Aim for about 100 to 120 milliliters every 15 minutes of sustained activity. Small frequent sips rather than large gulps. This consistent hydration keeps your blood volume stable and prevents the blood sugar fluctuations that commonly occur with physical exertion in people with diabetes. Now let me explain the 3 essential elements, the second 3 in the H3 method. Element number 1. Temperature matters. Room temperature or slightly warm water is optimal, especially first thing in the morning and before meals. About 22 to 24 degrees Celsius or roughly 72 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Cold water isn't bad, but warm water keeps your blood vessels relaxed and dilated, allowing better insulin circulation. It's a small difference that compounds significantly over time. Element number 2. Minerals matter. Pure demineralized water alone isn't sufficient. Your cells require minerals to actually absorb and utilize water effectively. That tiny pinch of sea salt in your morning water provides those essential minerals. Natural sea salt contains sodium, potassium, and magnesium in proper balance. Avoid regular table salt. It's been chemically stripped of vital trace minerals. Choose unrefined sea salt or Himalayan pink salt that still contains the full spectrum of minerals your body needs. Element number 3. Consistency matters profoundly. Your body thrives on predictable routine. Drinking water at consistent times every single day helps regulate your entire metabolic system. Morning water at the same time, pre-meal water at regular intervals. This consistency helps stabilize blood sugar patterns over time. There's one more addition I recommend for my patients. About 1 hour before bed, drink one final glass of warm water with 200 milligrams of magnesium citrate or magnesium glycinate dissolved into it. Magnesium is crucial for proper insulin function, and most people over 60 are deficient. Taking it before sleep serves a dual purpose. It helps your muscles relax for deeper sleep, and it keeps your blood sugar more stable throughout the night. Everyone asks me, "Doctor, how much water should I actually be drinking each day?" Here's a simple formula. Take your body weight in pounds and divide by 2. That number in ounces is your baseline daily water requirement. For example, if you weigh 160 pounds, you need about 80 ounces daily. That's roughly 10 cups. If you exercise regularly or spend time in warm weather, add 1 additional cup for every 20 minutes of activity or heat exposure. How do you know if you're drinking enough? Look at your urine color. It should be pale yellow, similar to lemonade. Not completely clear, which means you're overhydrated. Not dark yellow or amber, which signals dehydration. Pale yellow is optimal. Here's a practical implementation strategy. Get a reusable water bottle that holds about 24 ounces. Fill it completely 3 times throughout the day. Once in the morning, once at midday, once in the afternoon. That's 72 ounces total, perfect for most adults. Keep that bottle constantly visible on your kitchen counter, on your desk, in your car. Visual reminders work far better than trying to remember on your own. So, what actually happens when you begin this method? What should you expect? In the first week, you'll probably feel like you're running to the bathroom constantly. This is completely normal. Your body is adjusting to proper hydration. This settles down by week 2. You should notice your morning blood sugar beginning to stabilize, maybe 10 to 15 points lower on average. Not dramatic overnight, but consistent, measurable improvement. By weeks 2 to 3, you should experience noticeably more stable energy throughout the day. Less of that frustrating afternoon crash. Your post-meal blood sugar should become more predictable. By week 4, if you check your A1C, you might see it beginning to trend downward. Not a huge drop immediately, but clear movement in the right direction. And here's what I hear most often from patients. "Doctor, I just feel genuinely better. I can't quite explain it, but I feel more like my old self." That's what proper hydration creates. It doesn't cure diabetes. It doesn't replace medication, but it helps your body work the way it's designed to work. Let me be absolutely clear about something critical. This is not a replacement for medical care. If you're taking diabetes medication, do not stop. If your doctor has you following a specific plan, continue following it. What this hydration method does is support your existing medication, making it work more efficiently. I've had patients who, after 3 consistent months, were able to reduce medication dosages under their doctor's careful supervision. Not because water replaced medicine, but because their body's metabolic system started functioning more optimally. If you have any kidney disease, talk with your physician before substantially increasing water intake. For most people, this approach is completely safe and beneficial. But if your kidneys aren't filtering properly, you need individualized guidance. If you're taking blood pressure medication, pay attention as you increase hydration. Proper hydration can naturally lower blood pressure, which is beneficial, but might require medication adjustments. Watch for dizziness and report it to your doctor. Let me tell you about Dorothy. She was 74 when we first met. Dorothy had been managing diabetes for 19 years. Multiple medications, restrictive diets, diabetes education classes. She understood carbohydrate counting better than most nutritionists, but her A1C had been steadily creeping upward. It was now 8.6, and her endocrinologist was discussing starting insulin. "I feel like I've completely failed," she told me quietly, her voice breaking. "I've done everything right for 19 years, but my body just keeps getting worse. Maybe this is what happens. Maybe I can't fight it anymore." Her hydration habits were terrible. Maybe 3 or 4 small glasses of water daily. Coffee in the morning, tea in the afternoon, but actual water, very little. "I never feel thirsty," she explained. "And honestly, I hate constantly using the bathroom. It's embarrassing when I'm out with friends." We started the H3 method together. Yes, for the first week, she'd need the bathroom more frequently, but I assured her that her body would adjust within 10 to 14 days. 6 weeks later, she looked noticeably younger when she walked into my office. Eyes brighter, skin healthier, actually smiling. My numbers have been the best they've been in 5 years, she said, showing me her glucose log. My average used to hover around 185 to 205. Now I'm consistently 145 to 165. My doctor actually reduced one of my medications. But it wasn't just about the numbers. I have genuine energy again. Real, sustained energy. I can think clearly without that constant fog. I even started gardening again, something I'd given up 2 years ago. 3 months later, her A1C came back at 7.3, down from 8.6. You gave me my life back, she said, tears streaming down her face. Happy tears. With water. Something that costs virtually nothing. I just wish someone had explained this 19 years ago when I was first diagnosed. Dorothy's story is exactly why I create these videos. Because there are thousands of people exactly like her struggling right now, trying so hard, feeling defeated, when sometimes the answer is simpler than anyone could imagine. I want to challenge you to try this approach for 14 days. Just 2 weeks. Follow the H3 method exactly as I've outlined. Morning water with sea salt and lemon first thing upon waking. Water 15 minutes before lunch and dinner. Proper daily water intake spread throughout the day. Magnesium water before bed. Track your blood sugar carefully during those 2 weeks. See for yourself if the numbers improve. Pay attention to how you feel. More energy, clearer thinking, better sleep. If after 2 weeks you observe real improvement, keep going. Make this your permanent new normal. And please leave a comment telling me what you noticed. Your story might be exactly what another person needs to hear to give this method a try. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, type "I watched till the end" in the comments below. It helps me understand this message is reaching people who need it, and it helps YouTube share this information with more people struggling with blood sugar management. Then tell me, are you going to try the H3 method? What's your biggest struggle with staying hydrated? Share your thoughts. I read every message. If this information was helpful, please share it with someone struggling with their blood sugar. A parent, a spouse, a friend who could benefit from this simple strategy. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss future videos on managing diabetes, improving metabolic health, and living well with chronic conditions. Thank you for being here and for taking your health seriously. Remember, small strategic changes implemented consistently create genuinely measurable results over time. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.